Hello and welcome back to Dare and Doing. I'm Will Hester and I'm joined by the brilliant Ben Bowman for a special edition we're going to be doing throughout the Euros, England edition, okay? We're thinking of the name. What do you reckon for the name, Ben?
I don't know. It's fucking coming home podcast. Probably something like that.
Home podcast, Road to Glory.
England.
I think
I nearly broke my microphone then. I'll do that again. England.
We've probably just broken everyone's eardrums as well.
Yeah. Sorry about that. That's what starts.
How have you been, mate?
Good, mate. You know what? Why is everybody being so fucking miserable at the Euros?
It's been a bit negative, isn't it? There's not been much hype at all.
No, it is a bit dead. It is a bit dead, but now I'm trying to get my microphone back in fucking... There we go. It has been a bit dead, but I'm buzzing now. Did you see the Jude Bellingham Adidas promo video?
Yeah, that got me in the mood a little bit.
Yeah,
that was class.
I mean, way to put pressure on...
They know how to pull on the heartstrings.
Yeah, way to put pressure on him, but I think if there's one player that can deal with it, I think it's Judy.
Yeah, he don't feel the pressure like that kid.
No.
I mean, that kid, he's my age, but he's a joke. Like his mentality he's a mentality monster, and that's what we need in it. Yeah. I actually think he will be a catalyst in the way that we approach tournaments. He's fearless. Yeah. When you talk about like young players being fearless, he takes it to the next level. And you look at his trajectory, he doesn't lose. He actually hasn't really lost in his career.
No, he's a winner.
I mean, he's a beast.
He's a beast.
That advert was so good. It was
also
so
him
good.
in the Skims advert as well. Woo!
Woo!
Some boy.
Kim K's got her eye on some young meat.
Yeah. He's only gone and pulled himself an experienced cock handler. Oh, I love you, dude. I mean, the whole thing, the Bellingham stuff, I think, has been like, I can't remember if we talked about this or not, but like from a general perspective, but like the whole Bellingham hating thing has been bizarre like the last few months. Like the kid is unreal.
Yeah.
And it's like, for Real Madrid in those Champions League knockout games, he was kind of playing a very specialised role. He was playing a very sacrificial kind of role as well in that all false nine, trying to get the best out of Vinicius Jr. and then Rodrigo up front, because they haven't really got that striker, Real Madrid. And obviously they're buying Mbappe. So you'd imagine that, I think Rooney was saying this on the overlap yesterday, which was actually a really good watch. And I was thinking about something yesterday about Rooney. I've gone a bit of a tangent, but Rooney, I'm really enjoying Rooney being on the TV and stuff, because I feel like there's this perception around Rooney that he's a bit of a fucking idiot. But he actually talks on him, of course. He takes a lot of time to like think about what he's going to say, doesn't he? Like he kind of just like,
no, I know what you mean though. He is class. He is.
Yeah, I think he's brilliant, and also I think he talks like a lot of sense. And I think my main thing is that when it's the Euros or World Cup on BBC and ITV or whatever, how many of the pundits? Because before he goes to Plymouth, he's going to do the punditry for the BBC, I think, for the Euros. How many pundits are actual England legends? Like, when do you ever really see that?
Yeah,
like, you got to listen to fucking Jermaine Genius. Do you know what I mean? How many caps did he get for England? Whereas Rooney was arguably, in my opinion, and one of the other things I was going to say, which is scary for, I was thinking yesterday, we were talking about this on the Fighting Cock of like our first kind of England memories and like our favourite England memories from tournaments. My first memory of being an England fan was watching Wayne Rooney at Euro 2004. And then I realised that we were going to do this today, and I realised that you actually wouldn't have been alive or would have just been born.
I was fresh out the vagine in 2004.
Fresh out the vagine in 2004.
Yeah.
Mate, Rooney was fresh out the vagine, but he was unreal. Like, he was like, I've never seen, and like, I think that segues nicely to Bellingham, because it's like, I feel like, although Bellingham's got so much more hype around him than Rooney probably did, Rooney was a bit more of an unknown quantity at that time. Whereas Bellingham is coming into this, already played at a tournament for England. I think he was in the squad for the last Euros, wasn't he? But didn't really play. Bellingham's kind of stock has just kept going like that. Whereas Rooney just almost exploded out of nowhere the kind of year before, and it was like he's on the plane. Rooney was absolutely unreal, mate. He was just like, I think Rooney still doesn't get the appreciation that he should deserve as a footballer, as an icon of English football and just the like Premier League in general. He's just an unbelievable player. And I think to actually be able to listen to him, and like I said, there's going to be people that will just sort of shit on him a little bit for being a bit slow or a bit dim or whatever, but I think he's quality. I think he's really good. And it's a bit of a shame, actually, that he's going back into management. And I'm sure some Plymouth fans might feel the same about that, given what he did at Birmingham. But I think he'd be like, get him on Sky and that all the time. I really like him. I really like him. But
go on, carry on. Sorry,
I don't know what I was going to say. To be fair, I said but, and then I was like, actually, I've got nothing to say.
No, I've seen the clips from 2004 of like hit that game against France. Was it France?
Mate, it was unreal.
Was Zidane scored that pen?
First group game. So we went 1-0 up. I can't remember who scored actually. I think it might have been Lampard.
He was giving it to Thuram because weren't Thuram like, I don't know who that kid is or something like that.
Yeah, they were all like, who's this guy? And Rooney was like, fucking me, fuck off. And he was going around
nothing Wayne Rooney.
I think he was unreal, like just barging players off the ball. Really good. I think he won the penalty that Beckham. So he 1-0 up. I think he won the penalty, which Beckham then missed, and then Zidane scored a free kick and I think a header in injury time. Both goals in injury time. We lost the first game, and then we played Austria. I think Austria or Switzerland. Who was it? It was one of them two. England, Euros 2004, and then he scored in that game. And then he scored again. I think he scored twice against Croatia, maybe. Oh, no, it was Switzerland. It was Switzerland.
Yeah.
We won 3-0 against Switzerland, and then Croatia. He scored twice against Switzerland. And then I think he scored twice again against Croatia in the group. And it was like, oh my word. Like I would have only been 6. But I just remember like that was my first like core memory. Because I don't even think like I wasn't even really into football that much at that time. I was more interested in like fucking Tom's Tank Engine and stuff. And then I just remember watching that. I've got vivid memories of those games. And then like World Cup 2006 with the fucking Ronaldo wink and stuff. And I thought it was interesting that Rooney said that he would have done exactly the same thing on the overlap.
Yeah. It was that winning mentality, innit? Like who cares who you're playing for? You want to win, yeah.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of Rooney.
Yeah, I rate him. I have enjoyed his like the thing on the overlap as well with the questions and Gary Neville's interview. Like you learn a lot. And thing is with Man United like legends when they go to this ain't a Man United podcast, but we're talking about like the overlap. I feel like they get a lot of. It's hard for them to get into management because they no one's like that anymore. They were so ruthless and brutal that I think they kind of expect the same thing. See how Roy Keane's done in management.
Yeah,
Rooney's done in management. Like they're ruthless and it doesn't work the same way. So they're gonna have to adapt. I hope he does have a good career because we need like some more English sort of managers like that. Because when you're looking at who's going to replace Southgate, there's only probably about 3 in line at the moment who are still at the top. There's been a couple of candidates that have fallen away.
Yeah. Also, like with Birmingham and Derby, he was kind of set up to fail a little bit in both of those environments. Like Birmingham, like he wasn't great, and he took them from the playoffs to near the bottom of the table. But there was so much other there was so many other like what's the word? Circumstances, I guess, like around that with Birmingham, and then with Derby, look at the hand that he was kind of dealt there in terms of the situation and finances. I also think he's a bit more tactile and a bit softer than some of those characters as well, like Keane and that. I think he's actually got a grasp of like what a young player kind of needs a bit because he was that in that dressing room. He was also very feisty and very raw, but like, and he fitted in with that United team really well because he was just like, I don't give a fuck. No, I'm a big fan of Rooney. And it's kind of fitting, really, that we're 20 years on from that tournament. And you've got Bellingham, who's a little bit older than what Rooney was in Euro 2004. But it's almost like a changing of the guard 20 years later, a little bit, in the sense of like...
Yeah, no, I know what you mean.
Playing in that position. You could argue that was Foden as well. But again, there's just... Yeah, we'll get into that.
It's the arrogance of Bellingham. It does resemble Rooney's. Like the fearlessness and the fact that he'll kick you as well. He don't care who you are. He'll have a go at you. He's feisty. Yeah, exactly. Bellingham marked Rooney when Bellingham was playing for Birmingham and Rooney was playing for Derby. And again, Bellingham was just laying it on him, weren't jerking out challenges and I think who says it was it Southgate said like, and this was brought up in the overlap. I think I can't remember, but it was he shows respect off the pitch, but when he don't show respect on the pitch, and that resembles a young Rooney, doesn't it?
Yeah.
What's your favourite? Also, 2 questions. What's Bellingham's ceiling? Would he eclipse Rooney's career? Do you think? Maybe I reckon he'll have the longevity over Rooney. And 2, I've had a little bit of Alzheimer's, and I can't remember the second question. Answer that first question, and I'll remember the second one.
just a little bit of Alzheimer's.
Just a tad. It's just creeped in a little bit.
I reckon it's hard because they're very different players. Like it's really hard to kind of put them against each other. They've got very similar characteristics, and maybe in terms of, like you said, that kind of lack of respect for the opposition, which I think we need that. I think England need that as a nation. That's why Rooney was so excited when he came on. He was like, I don't give a shit. It was like playing down the park.
Yeah.
I think Bellingham's very similar. But I think Rooney will always... Rooney's, as that striker, you're actually going to have the records and the goals. People forget, like, Rooney scored over 200 Premier League goals. I mean, Bellingham is a goal scorer as well, but more in the sense of just like popping up in the right positions. Whether Bellingham will achieve more in the game, I mean, he's already won La Liga. He's already won a Champions League. Rooney only won 1 Champions League, didn't he? I think the difference will be what they do for England, because I think they'll have very similar club careers in terms of the amount of trophies that they win. I mean, Bellingham has already won as many Champions Leagues as Rooney, but they'll both have very glittering domestic careers. But I think if Bellingham can be that guy for England that does get them over the line in terms of winning a trophy, then I think that's what will be the difference between both of them. And that's not to say that like that's all on Rooney either, because there was so much expectation on Rooney's young shoulders when he first burst on the scene. People say that he failed as a captain, you know, all this kind of stuff. He let England down at times with the getting sent off against Portugal and things like that. But Bellingham, I had this prang and this fear like a few weeks ago that Bellingham's going to have a moment like that in the Euros, like a Beckham red card or like a Rooney red. Like, hopefully it doesn't happen. But the kind of the feistiness that they both played with, and Bellingham does play with now. But I think they'll have very similar success in their club careers, very sort of similar trajectories. Maybe the longevity I think Bellingham will have over him. I think the thing is with Rooney though is the longevity thing with Rooney is a little bit of a myth just because of how early he started playing football. But so did Bellingham. Bellingham was playing in the Championship in 16 years old. So, but Rooney was playing
fucking 16 years old.
Exactly. But I suppose Rooney was playing in the Premier League at that age, which is a different step up. So, and also naturally Bellingham is more of a, no disrespect to Wayne Rooney, but Bellingham is a physical specimen.
Yeah.
As we saw in the Skims, what a guy. But yeah, no, I think with Rooney, I think Rooney will always be that more of a maverick as well than Bellingham. Bellingham is a very functional. Bellingham's an incredible footballer at doing all of the basics really, really well for me. And that's not to take anything away from him because I love him. And I think the hate that not hate, but some disrespect that's been thrown his way over the last few weeks and months especially, is very unfair. But I think Bellingham is a 10 out of 10 at doing all of the basics of football incredibly well. Yeah. Whereas Rooney was like a street footballer.
Yeah. What's your favourite memories at the Euros when it comes to England? What are your favorite? By the way, before you answer that, can I just say, everyone, I keep looking down and I'm stroking down here. Don't worry.
He's not stroking his knob.
No. I've got a little puppy here. That's on my lap. If you watch YouTube, you've seen, Sorry, Teddy. But just in case anyone was thinking, I'm really getting into the Bellingham chat. Maybe even when he was in his boxers in that modelling gig he had. But
Jude Bellingham makes my knob go bloody hard, mate. Yeah, pop a pillow on my lap. Second dog on this podcast, Teddy and Dexter. Go on, boys. Well, Dexter's German, so fuck him. Teddy's English. I don't know
Teddy's a proper English name, isn't it?
Yeah.
He's a toy poodle, I think. I don't know
exactly. Is that English breed?
Probably French.
Yeah, probably. Fuck him. Fuck them as well. Let's get an English bulldog in here. Well, our dog at home is like a Romanian rescue dog as well. So we've not got any English. We're not getting any English at all. Fucking Dragosin's in the front room.
Dragosin, yeah. Go on then. What's your favourite English memory? Do you reckon?
At the Euros, I mean, they're all kind of Southgate era, really, and this kind of makes me like we haven't really ever talked about England that much, so I don't really know what your thoughts are on Southgate.
Yeah.
But like, this is why like I will always question like what do people actually want from this England kind of era, because Southgate has given us so many amazing memories, and I get that the criticism is there. I understand why people don't think he should be the manager anymore. I get that. I don't agree. I think Southgate 100% deserves the crack at this tournament and has given England the best chance of success. Again, people say he got lucky with this generation of players, but you look how far this team has come from that World Cup team. Like, the only real constant has been Harry Kane and Jordan Pickford and Stones and Maguire, who I think we're going to miss massively in the tournament. But favourite memory would be, I think, the last Euros, to be fair. I know it was so painful the way that it ended, but I think also, like, it was fresh off the back of lockdown, so everyone was charged up for it. Everyone was so true. Mental. That, like, watching the games with your mates and stuff, the final was special. Like, that was, I didn't think I'd ever see it in England. It's kind of like the same as Spurs, isn't it, really? Like, we obviously won't talk about Spurs too much, but like, England, following England and Spurs, a very similar path, like heartbreak. But I would probably say that the last Euros, just generally, the World Cup was special as well. Like, the World Cup 2018 was amazing. Was at Hyde Park for the semi-final, which was class. Nice. It was amazing. Yeah, I bet. Except like the worst thing about that was that everyone, when Trippier scored the free kick, everyone was pints in the air. Do you want to know how much fucking pints were? There was 4 of us there. I think we paid like 50 quid for a round, and everyone's going, "Way!" I was like, "No, come on, yes!" Just trying to not spill the beer. But no, I'd say the last Euros. I think the release of lockdown, that Germany game was unbelievable.
Oh, so
I was in a pub.
You did believe then. You believed then, didn't you?
I believed, yeah. Once we knocked Germany out, I thought it was ours. I thought it was weird. Because Ukraine was such a formality. We won 4-0, fucking bosh.
Yeah.
Semi-final was unreal. Yeah, that was stressful. That was horrible, that game. That was. You really felt Croatia vibes, 2018. Oh, 100%, yeah. When Dam's got a free kick, I was like, oh, God.
Yeah, and then Sterling scored, didn't he? And then Kane fucking missed the penalty. And when he missed that penalty,
goal. I think it was an own goal, wasn't it? It was like Saka.
Oh, really?
It was like bundled into. It was like Sterling claimed it, I think.
Yeah, that was and then Kane missed, and then
that penalty, that penalty was never a penalty either. Like, there was a ball on the pitch. There were 2 balls on the pitch, and it was so fucking soft. But who gives a shit?
Who won it? Was it Sterling?
Yeah, he was like jinked into the box, and then
he's a big player last tournament, Sterling. Do you reckon he'll be in this? That type of player? Yeah, do you reckon Anthony Gordon can fill his boots?
Yeah, I think so. But like, I think it was Stumpeg made a good point on the overlap about how she was sort of saying about how, like, we've lost quite a lot of goal scorers who aren't in this squad. Even Maguire.
Yeah.
I think someone was saying, like, even Bukayo Saka is like the 3rd top scorer for England in this squad, or maybe even 2nd now. Maguire's not there, which is mad when you consider, like, Saka's probably scored 10 goals for England. I'm not shitting on him at all, because he's been, as much as you want to talk about the Saka Foden thing, Saka has always played well for England, and there has been that question mark over Foden. But last Euros was just special. I think the last World Cup was a bit naff on it, just generally. Like, it was good when it started, but like,
you never really had the buzz. I think it was because it weren't summer. You know, the sun. I mean, the sun's already out now. It's a bit of a shit summer, but you know when the sun comes out. Cold it is
in Germany though. Like, Germany, they've got like 12 degrees. It's like
serious.
It's not warm over there.
It's going to feel. I mean, it was hot in Qatar, but obviously we weren't there. But like, it's gonna. Might be. But yeah, I mean. It's just the vibe. The vibe weren't there for the Qatar World Cup. Like, obviously, it was an amazing tournament with like Messi winning it, but it just wasn't. It didn't feel like a World Cup. Whereas this now is starting to feel like Euros. You know what I mean? It was getting to that stage. The hype's getting there, and the anticipation for a summer tournament. It's just a league.
Do you think it is though? Because I think
it's starting to get there. I think it's been flat, especially, but it's starting to get there. I actually think that's related to the team that come out. Yeah, I think 100%. It's related to there was a massive hype and then in thinking we were going to win. We're the favourites, and then since the team come out, actually, let's get on to that.
Before we do that, let's be all over. What's your favourite England memory? What would you say yours is? Because you've had a short time.
I think that Sturridge last minute winner against Wales. Mate. Because it was more of just the story around it, but for me, because I was watching it at school, I was in my science classroom, and Bale scored that free kick. I think were we 1-0 down, or had Vardy already scored? I can't really remember.
No, we were 1-0 down at half time, and then we scored both goals in the second half.
Yeah. So I think I captured Vardy's goal in the second half, but then the bell went, and it was the end of the day. We were allowed to go home. So I was like, oh my God. So I live about 20-minute walk from my secondary school. But I had my bike, so I was sprinting. I was so fat, and I sprinted. I had a stitch by the time I got to the bike shed. Yeah, got the bike out. I've pedalled like I had never pedalled before, like absolutely, like burnt out. Like couldn't walk for the next couple of days, but I was pedaling, panting away, and parked on my bike, ran into my house, ran into the living room as Dele Alli slipped through. Daniel Sturridge scored the winner, and I caught it, and no one else caught it at school. Yeah, did the little silly. Yeah. No one else caught it at school. Everyone was still trying to get on the bus, and really? I did everything I could to get home, and I watched the winner. So it was a shit tournament, but I think that moment was probably like it was just a sick memory of the fact that I caught it right at the perfect time to celebrate with my dad and my brother.
That's class. There were some unreal celebrations as well, like everyone running down the touchline. Like that was really good.
Yeah. I just fucking love the Euros. I love the players that just emerge out of nowhere from it. Like there's always like, do you remember? Oh, actually, no, that was the Russian World Cup. I was gonna say, do you remember someone like Golovin for Russia in like 2018? He like lit up the tournament and then
free kick in the first game, didn't he?
Was that who him? Was that winger they had who played in Spain? That he had ginger hair.
Was it Cheryshev?
Yeah, mate. He was a bowler. He was so good, and then you just never hear about him again. And
they were all on roids, though, weren't they? There was that thing about them all being on roids.
Oh, really? Oh, fucking because they were really good, weren't they? They were really good.
Like the host nation going all the way through to the was it quarters they got knocked out, I think. They knocked out fucking Spain.
They got knocked out on penalties. Did they lose
by
to
Croatia
or something?
Yeah, they did,
yeah.
But
they won on a run.
Anyway.
Golovin. Yeah, but anyways, I'm looking forward to that. I just think the Euros, mate, they just had so many ballers. You never even heard of them again. Like they never did anything in club football. But I am feeling the hype now. But like I was saying, the hype definitely died with the final team that come out for England. And I think we're actually starting to head towards more anxiousness than excitement.
Yeah, and anticipation.
I think we're and whereas we've done this for years, but it felt like the tides were turning, but I think now we've gone back into our shell as a nation in trying to accept that we're going to lose. It's almost like trying to come to terms with the fact that we're not going to win this tournament, so it's not as much for heartbreak. So I feel like that's why it's got a little bit flat. That might not be the case. I just think that's my opinion. But what's your opinion on the final squad? I know you did a video about it, but what's your worries about it?
There's a fair few. I think you're right, though. I think that a lot of that is associated with the team because everyone was buzzing when the 33 came out. He's dropped these big players. Like, this is the kind of team we want to see. Like Wharton, Minor in there as well. Like defense looking good. Obviously, we didn't know about Maguire's injury really at the time, or knew that he was there, but didn't think he was not going to be back. So I think it's definitely related to that. And I think we've kind of gone in our shell a little bit again. But then when everyone's down the fucking pub at 6 o'clock on Sunday singing fucking It's Coming Home, then I think we'll be back. We'll be fine.
Yeah. I think so.
All it takes is a drop of beer and everyone feels good again. So the squad, massive concerns over the defence. And I think that we're recording this on, what day is it today? Thursday. So it'll be out probably today or tomorrow. So John Stones obviously didn't train yesterday and he's apparently fine, was ill, apparently fine. But there are concerns over Stones and Gahey, both in terms of the fact that they're both very they both seem really rusty to me. Like,
well, they've been injured, haven't they?
Gay's not played 90 minutes since January.
Yeah.
And I'd really like Mark Gay. I think he's a top-class centre-back. And I think if Maguire's not there, Gay is 100% the right pick for me. Good on both feet, comfortable on the ball.
Yeah.
You do worry about his kind of aerial presence. We haven't really got that aggressor with the centre-backs. Like, Maguire would be the one that'd be like, right, at it. Like, be the one that steps up. John Stones is a bit more of that. He would like to back off, receive the ball for centre-backs a little bit.
Yeah.
Whereas Maguire would always be the front-footed defender, whether that's carrying the ball out from the back or whether that's balls coming into the box. I'll get my fucking massive head on it. And I think Maguire is going to be a massive miss for England. Also,
that's why he's taking Dunk, I think.
Oh, what's happened again?
You cut out a little bit.
Sorry.
Yeah, I think that's why he's brought Dunk.
Yeah,
I think he's like a B-Tech Maguire, isn't he? Just aerial presence for set pieces, but I mean he's not ready for this tournament. But I feel like he's preferred, and I think the leadership that Maguire brings, I think he's brought Dunk because of that leadership. A little bit like, did you say it? A little bit like Connor Cody, or in that when he kept bringing Connor Cody, he just didn't get a sniff for first team football, but he was there for the dressing room and for the atmosphere and hyping the players up. But what are your thoughts on him leaving Branthwaite out? Because I think that was a mistake. Just because, like you're saying about Gay, I know Southgate said he wasn't ready. He didn't think Branthwaite. It wasn't quite Branthwaite's time for him to come into the tournament. But I think he's more ready than Gay in terms of sharpness, match fitness, current form, and the fact that he's worked with Pickford all year round, and they've had one of the strongest defences in the Premier League together. And if anything, you need that sort of familiarity when it comes to a new back line, because it is a new back line, a completely new partnership we haven't seen in Stones and someone other than Maguire, because they've been such a formidable partnership for the last few tournaments. They've been incredible. Yeah. So what were your thoughts on Branthwaite being left out?
Yeah, I think it's a massive mistake, because the thing I didn't understand was the reasoning for it as well, because he said he wasn't quite ready, but then why are Wharton and Mainu ready? Like,
exactly.
They're arguably more inexperienced than Jared Branthwaite in the Premier League.
Yeah,
Branthwaite's been England's best centre half this or last season. He's not perfect, he's not complete, but I think it gives you the balance as well of being left-footed. Don't have a left footer in the defence other than Luke Shaw, who's not even fit yet. You could even potentially play him at left back, or gives you the option to go to a back three with that balance as well. Allow Trent to maybe push on if you play him at right back. It seems like it's going to be Walker and then Trent in midfield, but I thought it was strange. I did think it was strange.
Yeah.
And I didn't see it coming either. Like this time last week when it all came out, the squad was meant to be announced on Saturday, but they announced it on Thursday to kind of get ahead of all the leaks that were coming out. I was amazed to see Branthwaite as one of those players left out. I thought it was a formality, to be fair. I just think Lewis Dunk, I don't get it. You've got you've got experience elsewhere. Like, he's not Lewis Dunk. I don't know,
but he's experienced, but not in a tournament like this.
No,
so
exactly.
It's a whole new level for him.
Yeah. And Branthwaite's just better on the ball. Like, he just is. He's a good combative defender, aggressive, good in the air, tall, big, strong, good on the ball, strides out with it. Good pace going the other way as well.
Yeah.
I do really like Mark Gay here, and I think Mark Gay is definitely the right option, 100%. But it's just the issue with Gay and Stones, because Stones just doesn't look like that goal last week against Iceland. It does worry me a little bit as that partnership.
Yeah.
But who knows? I think once Trippier comes out, I think once Shaw comes back in, I think everyone just does settle down a little bit more. I do think that.
Yeah. Well, with the defense, I think it is definitely a weak point. But if we are to have any manager to sort of set up a steady team and a solid foundation, solid formation, it would be Southgate, because he is quite pragmatic. So if that's our biggest weakness, I think he'll find a way of making it our biggest strength. That does sacrifice a lot of our attacking creativity and brilliance, but I think he'll rely on big players and big moments. We have so many big moment players in the team. I think we have enough to scrape by through the tournaments until we face a France or a Portugal or whoever that might be. I think they're the two. I think France and Portugal are the two that I see us struggling the most against. But you never know; it could be a shock. We could be shocked. But I think Southgate's if we had more of an attacking manager, I'd be a bit worried. I would be. But I mean, I would be very worried. I'm a little bit worried now. But I think Southgate is such a pragmatic coach that he'll know that will be our biggest weakness, and he'll do everything he can to make us. I don't think he'll make us boring, but I think it's not going to be gun ho, is it? It's going to be pragmatic. No. I think we're gonna have a lot of the ball, but we're not going to take too many risks.
No.
And I
also,
think we'll
boring football wins tournament. Boring football wins tournaments.
Exactly. Yeah, that's why. Yeah, Italy. Yeah, that's what I was going to say, and that's why Portugal looks so good, because Roberto Martinez is the exact same. He's so pragmatic, and they've got all the attacking qualities to sort of have those moments of brilliance and get them through big games. So, but what with the Iceland game, you mentioned it there. What do you think? How significant do you think that defeat is, being our last warm-up game going into the Euros, in regards to the mentality and the confidence of the players?
I mean, you can't at Wembley. Yeah, you can't brush it under the carpet, but like, it wasn't great. But then again, I don't know. I think a lot of those games, especially with the bigger players that have been there before and done it, I think to them it's just about getting minutes in the tank. It's disappointing, and we did look a bit toothless. There were positives to take from it as well. I thought when Trent came on, he kind of changed the game a little bit. Again, it's the defence I kind of worry about in that game, and that's saying something really against that kind of level of opposition. We were lucky maybe not to be 2-0 down at certain points. But I think everyone's just got to put that at the back of their mind now, because like, I know they didn't lose, but France drew 0-0 to Canada in one of their warm-up games as well. France aren't exactly coming into this tournament blistering, blowing teams away. I think when you've got players like Harry Kane and Jude Bellingham and Phil Foden, especially the first two that have played at the top level and done it and won the Champions League, and Harry Kane's experience with tournaments, etc., I think you kind of go back into autopilot once you're back at these kind of tournaments a little bit. And I think with the group as well, you've got kind of that safety net as well. As long as you kind of win one game, you're probably going to go through as that third place team if it comes to it, which is not ideal, obviously. But I don't think, the Iceland thing is what it is. It was poor, but I think you just got to move on from it now.
Yeah. I think if we're going to lose, it's the perfect time to do it. It's a little bit of a wake-up call for games like that, where we go as favourites, whereas you can't go through the motions here, like in games like this, because the Euros especially, and like international tournaments especially, there's always a moment where something completely out of the blue will happen with the opposition, whether that's a set piece or an absolute screamer from someone who plays in the Bosnian league. Do you know what I mean? It's always going to be something like that in these international tournaments. The players playing for the lower teams, this is their time to shine, and this is their proudest ever moment. And they're never really going to play at the big stage like this again. So they're going to give it everything they can. So I think I think it was a bit of a wake up call into knowing that this ain't going to be a breeze. And I think it's kind of good for the players to have that in the back of their minds, is to have a shot now instead of when we're on the big stage. But I think it could do something for the confidence. Maybe it could knock the confidence, but I just think you'd rather get them out of the way now and then go into it knowing that that's a possibility, and heighten that sort of the awareness of it was just a simple transition goal, wasn't it? And I think I know you said we can't really brush it under the carpet, but we're gonna have to kind of have to, as long as we take the lesson we learned from it.
I think it's more like you can't not regard it as important, but how important actually is it? It's one of them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but obviously it got everyone like fucking stressed out, because obviously the team was released, people were getting anxious about that, and then obviously we lost to Iceland. So it was a double whammy, I think, where it knocked the nation's confidence back, but it shouldn't knock the players' confidence back. And that's the most important thing. And like you say, as soon as that drop of beer hits everyone, as soon as the opening game, I think everyone's singing "It's Coming Home" and everyone gets that confidence back. So I think the anticipation's killing us a little bit, and we just need to get going. And once we get going, the momentum will shift. So you've got us down. You did your prediction on YouTube, and you predicted that we'd win the tournament. Do you think this is our best chance of glory? And are we favourites? And why?
We're the bookies' favourites, aren't we? We are the bookies' favourites. I don't think we. I think it's us or France who probably should be the favourites when you look at the squads. But then it's like England's squad doesn't really stack up to some of these other teams in terms of the defensive solidity. Attacking wise, we're as good as anybody, and in midfield as well. I think it might sound mad, but I think this is the best set of midfield options England have had in a long time, because there is an opportunity to kind of make it easier to get that balance right, rather than when we had fucking Gerrard, Lampard and Scholes. Although I think there is almost this potentially this Gerrard Lampard-esque thing with Bellingham and Foden, maybe, of like, how do you both get them in the team and how do you get the best out of both of them? I think that could be a bit of an issue, but yeah, I think it's only really the defence that kind of stops us from really stacking up to those top teams. But again, they might not perform in the way that you'd expect them to. You kind of these tournaments never pan out the way you think they will. They never do. So whether that's in England's favour or whether that's against us. And a lot of people think it's going to be against us right now and pessimistic and stuff, but sometimes these other teams might not go into it on fire like you think they're going to. I think England can win it. I do think England can win it. I think get through the group stages, get Luke Shaw back, get that defence a bit more settled and balanced, and then go and win the games. I think we've got a really good chance.
Yeah. I know what you mean about the sort of the comparison between Foden, Bellingham, or players in the team, and the Scholes, Lampard, Gerrard thing, because we've got so many catalysts in the team in similar positions where you can play them in other positions, and it would probably still would work, but they wouldn't be performing to the same levels they do for their club or have done for their club this season. And it does sort of nullify them a little bit when you're picking a team and you're looking at it and you're thinking, well, I don't really like Foden on the left, or I don't really like Bellingham sitting a bit deeper, or Rice can't really, his best position's an 8. You're sort of looking at it and there are constant issues you could say in a good way, because there's so many unbelievable players on the pitch, but you need that balance. You need someone to come in and not be that sort of shining star, but to carry that not pragmatism, but that solid foundation in the team, make the balance right. Whether that's is that a Trent? Because I was going to ask who our most influential player will be. I think you sort of covered that in your England video that you did. It was really good, by the way. I really enjoyed it. But it was that you put Trent as England's most important player, did you?
Yeah, I think I wouldn't
think he comes in midfield.
Yeah, I think he definitely does. I think he definitely does, at least in this first game. I think Southgate's going to try it and see how it goes. I don't necessarily think Trent is England's most important player, but I think he's one of them, and I think his relationship with Bellingham in that midfield will be super important for England. I like the idea of Trent in there. I really do. I don't have a problem with if later down the line, if he goes for someone like Gallagher, which I think he might do, or someone like Wharton maybe. But I think Trent's going to be really important in those first few games. I think that ability to get your head up, pick the pass early. I showed some examples in my video about Bellingham and those kind of runs towards the back post and his ability to snuff out those kind of chances. Almost a little bit how someone like Dele Alli used to run.
Mate, I was just about to mention that. The videos, the evidence you were given was literally Eriksen to Ali against Chelsea when we beat them 2-0 in a was it 17-18 season?
16-17,
yeah. It was just like that.
Yeah, and I think Trent, he's just got that incredible passing range. I do worry about it a little bit defensively. Does it leave Rice too much to do? Who knows? But I'd like to try it. I'd like to see it. I'd like to see him given a go in there.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you think it's a risk then defensively?
Yeah, cool. Yeah, it's a risk, but I think kind of the only option I think that you put next to Rice that isn't a risk is maybe Gallagher, because Minu gives you that risk. Wharton gives you that risk with that lack of experience. Although I think Wharton would probably actually be the best option, maybe other than potentially Trent. But no, I think Trent is gonna. I think he's gonna surprise a lot of people. I wouldn't be surprised if he does get in and stay in, but I also wouldn't be surprised if later down the line he does go a bit more pragmatic and go for Gallagher.
Yeah.
Also, I don't think it's that much of a risk where it wants people saying this definitely should not happen, like the Trent thing. He's never played there, all this kind of stuff. It's like he steps into those areas a hell of a lot for Liverpool. It's not like not everything is the way you kind of see it on paper in terms of the formation.
Yeah.
I'd quite like to see it. I don't think it's a huge risk. Certainly not in these games.
Set positions are almost going extinct.
Yeah, exactly.
It's all about the positions they actually just take up in the field throughout the game. So I think Trent definitely could be utilised and be effective in the midfield, and you proved it in your video. And you can see the vision. So everyone and their nan has their own opinion on the starting 11. What's your preferred starting 11 for the tournament? And what do you think Southgate will do?
To be honest, I think mine is actually pretty similar to what Southgate will actually go with. For the first game, I think it'll be Walker, Stones, Pickford, obviously. Walker, Stones, Gay, Trippier, Rice, Trent, Bellingham, Saka, Kane, Foden, and that's pretty close. I think that's probably what I'd go with, to be fair. I think when Luke Shaw comes back, he goes back in. I think Luke Shaw, it's going to take Luke Shaw a minute to get back up to sharpness. But if you've got Luke Shaw peaking at the right time in the kind of latter stages of the tournament, being able to hold that width on that side, which we know he's so good at, bombing up and down, gives that bit more defensive solidity as well, comfortable on the ball, allows Foden to drift inside that little bit more too. You do run the risk, I think, sometimes a little bit with Foden of maybe overcrowding that area just around Harry Kane, especially with how Kane wants to drop deep.
Yeah.
But I think you've got to get Foden on the pitch. And I think Bellingham will also want to drift into those wide areas, make those runs into the channel, sort of like I was saying in the video as well, which then does create that bigger space for Foden. Someone was saying on the overlap, the City fan, sort of like, when Foden operates centrally, it works better for City because Haaland is a target man that's going to take the defenders with him and then create that space. Whereas Harry Kane, he's kind of dropping back into those number 10 positions and those areas. But I think that's kind of the beauty of having Bellingham a little bit, who is that runner who can go a bit deeper, who can drift out wide, that does then allow Foden that bit more space. But also then Bellingham can go beyond Kane if he does drop deep, which he's going to do.
Yeah.
So I quite like that balance a little bit. I do think the other shout is Gordon, though. But then it's just how do you make that work without... It's really tough. But I think he'd be a great option off the bench.
Yeah, he would be. Yeah, I think Gordon adds the balance a bit more. I think there has to be a sacrifice somewhere between Foden and Saka. I think for that right hand side. Obviously, Cole Palmer's there as well, so you can throw him into the mix. But I just think he does offer that. He holds the width. He's a relentless presser. He's a relentless runner, and he'll work well with Harry Kane. And you're thinking, if you're looking at the players in our team, and you're thinking, all right, how are we going to win this tournament? Which players do you need to almost base this around? I know it's a collective, and a team collective wins you tournaments, which sort of backs my what I'm saying up, because Gordon isn't the sexy choice, but he offers that balance to the team in that selfless work rate that really complements Harry Kane. And you're thinking, if you had Harry Kane doing what he does, dropping a little bit deeper, having Bellingham shadow running, like being a bit of a shadow striker running in behind, Foden and Kane dropping into the 10s, Foden on the right, Kane on the left, and then Gordon on his bike, that could work. But I think Southgate will do what you said. I think he'll go with Gay, Stones, Trippier left back, Walker right back, Trent, Rice, Bellingham, Foden left, Saka right, Kane striker. But there's fucking 3 right backs in that team.
Yeah,
That's mad, isn't it? But can I tell you, I was writing up like different teams we could do just for a bit of fun. I saw this. I did this formation, and I was looking at it, going, never in a million years, but it would get the best out of every single player. But I was looking at it thinking, never in a million years would Southgate do this. And if I said it, I'd look like that guy. You know that guy on TikTok that did that formation?
Coach Faraz,
Brantfeit is the one centre-back at the back.
Yeah.
So it was a 3-2-2-3 formation.
Oh yeah.
So it was Gomez.
12 players, isn't it?
Is it?
No joke.
I'm doing a Todd Bowley. Yeah. I think 3-2-2-3-1. Fuck me. Yeah, that is 12. No, yeah.
3-2-2-3.
So it's yeah. So it's you have a box in midfield. So you have Gomez left centre back, Stones in the middle, Walker right centre back almost in build up. You have Trent and Rice in the two sort of sixes, and Foden and Bellingham in the tens. Then you have Saka on the wing and Gordon on the wing and Kane up front, and then you can do that sort of the midfield has complete control. Gomez and Walker are good at covering the flanks in transition. When we're defending, because Gordon's got a work rate, like he can get up and down. Saka used to play wing back, So when we're defending, Rice drops into the back four. Trent and Bellingham Bellingham covers Rice's position. Gordon and Saka get back, so you've got loads of players in defence there. When we're in attack, we got boxing midfield. Bellingham making the sort of shadow runs. Trent Kane drops back. Gordon on his bike. Saka's on his bike, holding the width. Never ever going to happen in a million years, and we would get absolutely dicked down most games in transitions probably. But I was looking at it thinking that benefits Saka, Gordon, Bellingham, Foden, Kane. Trent can be that 100 touch man, 100 pass man.
Yeah.
But never going to happen. And
I like it. I do like it.
In if we're going to be like serious, I think I'd have Gomez over Gay at the moment. Just I think Gomez had a better season, and he can cover the. You know what? I don't really care, to be honest, between Gay and Gomez. I think Gomez left back is a better shout than Trippier, but Southgate likes wing play with his fullbacks holding width.
But Trippier's not going to do that.
No,
we saw that in the Iceland game. He just wants to and it's like that's what. Yeah, it's really just need Luke Shaw back basically. Yeah, I was listening to your team, and the only thing I couldn't help but think was like, how much better would this be if we had Brantfeit?
Yeah,
as that
perfect balance. Yeah, perfect. Yeah,
I think as well.
I think that would work.
I think because in essence that's a 4-2-3-1, but just when you're in build up, the right back shifts into midfield, then you become a back three, so then becomes a 3-4-2-1.
Yeah. On paper, it'd be Trent left back. Or you could go Brantwaite. We're living in a dream world now because he's not actually there. But that's why he would be perfect, because you could go Brantwaite as the left back, Gay, Stones. Oh no, that's shit. Hang on. Fuck. Stones and Walker.
No, you go Gay. He is left back in a fourth. He's comfortable both feet. Stones, Walker, Trent. Walker is the centre back. And then you go to a back three of Stones, Walker, and Gay. Trent inverts into midfield. You've got Trent and Rice as the holders. Bellingham and Foden. Fucking, I don't know, mate.
I'm so confused. Actually, to be fair, you could have Brantwaite, Gay, Walker. Stones steps into midfield with Rice. 100 touch man. Yeah. And then you have that foundation. And then Foden, Bellingham, Gordon, Kane, Saka.
Yeah.
Bosh.
Sorry, no, it is Trent at left back in it. That is the way. I was saying Trent at left back for I remember James Alcott was saying this, and he was getting cooked for it. That coach, I think it's Rafaz or Faraz, he was getting cooked for it as well. Trent left back makes a lot of sense. Like it does make a lot of sense with where we are without Luke Shaw. Allow him, because Walker naturally. How many times has Walker played on the right side of a back three for England? You've got Saka on that right hand side, who is an engine. Saka's defensive work rate has always been great for Arsenal.
He played wing back when he was younger.
Exactly. And then you've got, I think there are options, but this is where we come back to the Branthwaite thing. I think Branthwaite would have unlocked a lot more for England, but it is what it is, and he's not fucking here, just get on with it.
Nah, exactly. Harry Kane, Sir Harold.
Let's go.
Do you think this is his best chance of bringing it home, or do you think we had a better team in the last Euros that lost the final?
Probably.
Do you think it was better last time?
No, sorry. Not the Euros. No. We've got a better team now than then.
Do you think?
World Cup, I think we had a better chance. Because we should have beaten France. I think we would have won it. I think we would have won it.
Yeah, I think
when
so.
you got the Stones and we've got Maguire, I think is a massive miss.
We just had so much more solidity at the back, didn't we? And experience and leadership.
Experience of going deep in tournaments, going in big games for Man United, winning FA Cups and shit. And League Cup. Maguire's a huge miss for me.
Yeah, Mark Gay, he's an unbelievable talent. He's still so young, but he's a leader. He's a captain of Palace. And each season he looks like he's getting better and better. But has he ever played against Mbappe running at him in the semi-finals of a Euros? Do you know what I mean? It's just the whole next level. And fuck me. Imagine Lewis Dunk in a 1v1 out wide with Mbappe. It'll be like Neymar meme where he's praying on his knees.
Yeah.
Mbappe just goes.
Mbappe's going to be like Ronaldinho, just like that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I actually think our team at the Euros was better. I think there's
it was
players
more balanced,
that are ready,
more solid
now. Like I think Kane. Well, yeah, and I think Kane and Bellingham and Foden and Saka. I think they're more established, ready-made players. But I think we've got that problem at the back where we had more ready-made players at the back last time, and now you've got a rusty John Stones and a completely new back line almost until Shaw gets back. But again, he'll be rusty, although he gives his all for England. Walker's been unbelievable this season, but yeah, but then we still have Pickford. In hindsight, once Shaw's back, it's just Maguire we're missing. And I think again, I'd go with Gomez centre back just because he's played in big games like Champions Leagues and. I don't think he played he must have played Champions League finals at some point. I don't think he started against us when they won it, but I just think that he will know the occasions more. I think Gay's probably a better centre back, but Gomez is just more experienced, more he's more calm. He might be more calm in when the going gets rough. But yeah, we'll have to see. I'm not too fussed over that, over Gay or Gomez, but I just think players like Sterling, he was even controversial at the time for starting, but he was almost Gareth Southgate's main man last tournament. He was really good, and he scored some big goals. Rashford, he's known for England for scoring some big goals, and scored big goals at the World Cup, and he's not going to be there. So it will be interesting to see who steps up. So moving on to so you think Harry Kane, this is his chance? How desperate are you to see Harry Kane lift the Euros?
He deserves it more than anybody, really.
After all the shit he's gone through this year, he left Spurs to Bayern Munich, nailed on trophies and won now.
Yeah, still kind of funny though, isn't it?
Yeah.
No, I think he deserves. Like when you see how much it means to him to kind of play for England, and he's been the captain through this whole time. He was the captain at the World Cup, captain at the Euros, captain at the last World Cup, captain here. I think this is his best. I think the World Cup was probably his best chance.
Yeah.
But I think this one he's got a good chance as well, and I think he's going to have a good tournament. I think he's just so important, Kane, isn't he? Like it's just not even a fucking question anymore, is it? Like, do you remember the last Euros where it was like, well, he's not scored in the first few games. Maybe should we play? I don't even know who our second striker would have been in that tournament. Maybe Rashford. Like, should we play Rashford? It's like, fuck.
Callum Wilson.
Probably Wilson or someone. Wilson was at the World Cup, wasn't he?
I don't know
about the Euros.
Tammy Abraham or something.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, I think his legacy is England. When you're going to look back at Harry Kane's career, I think his legacy until we moved to Bayern was always Premier League's top ever goal scorer. Brought it home for England. I think that was what it was always going to be, and I think he'll always be known for captaining England and progressing to. He just needs to win it. He just needs to win it. I'm going to be obviously devastated at England if we ever get knocked out, but I'll be devastated for him because it's just another chance gone, and he's getting older and older. This is it. This is his time now, and
you can just see you can just picture his face, can't you, when we don't win? Like, just just tears in his eyes, almost looking up at the crowd. But you can see his face I can just picture his face crying when we do win it. And I remember how emotional he was after the Germany game. How emotional he was
overcome by emotions.
Yeah, that was an amazing day, that Germany game, because it was like actual like a decent amount of people in the stadium. The fact that we beat Germany, and you could see how much it meant to the players and to the fans as well. So let's fucking do one over them again would be nice.
Yeah, it would be good. It would be good. Moving on to the Serbia game then. So first game, I looked at Serbia's team. I completely wrote them off when I actually shouldn't do because they've got some talent in their team.
Oh yeah,
they've got some units as well. How are we going to beat Serbia? How would we go about it? And what's their biggest threat against us? Do you think, or threats?
Well, they fucking beat Sweden 3-0, didn't they? They've got a good. They haven't got a good side. Like, I'm just looking at it now. Like, pretty solid defense. 3-5-2. Milinkovic, Savic in midfield. Lukic as well. From Fulham, who I've always actually been quite impressed with whenever I've seen him. Vlahovic and Mitrovic up front, which I just feel like with Stones and Gay, I feel like they could cause us problems. Mitrovic and Vlahovic. They're not they're not quite like the defensive team that I think everyone thinks they're going to be. I think they'll be solid, but I think they'll look to hurt England.
They got Milinkovic from Fiorentina, if they're that big centre back.
Yeah, we were. I remember Spurs were linked with him ages ago.
We were.
Zivkovic as well. I was going to say I pretend to know who was. I actually played for PAOK. I thought it was a different player.
Mate, he's class, that guy.
Yeah, fucking what player. I think this could be the toughest group game, but just because they're obviously a decent side, but also the first game is always quite like, you just don't quite know. Unless like in the World Cup last time we had Iran where it was like, come on, lads. Like, whereas this is a bit that doesn't feel great, but I think
you can see a little shock.
Yeah, just a little one.
Just a little. Yeah.
No, fuck it, we're going to win 3-0.
No, yeah, we'll get past them, I think. And I actually think this is a really good first game because it will be really physical, it will be a proper battle.
Yeah, there's no easing into the tournament with this game, is there?
No. And I think that's perfect because you need big warm-up games for the latter stages of the tournament. And do you remember? I know they weren't on paper a good team, but what was our first game in 2018 World Cup? Was it like Tunisia? Yeah, and we scraped by with a Harry Kane header. And who else scored a header? Was it Stones or Maguire?
Harry Kane. He scored both goals. Yeah.
Oh, he scored. Yeah. And that was actually much harder than we thought because it was the first game of the tournament. But we won and showed our strength and scraped by, and it was the perfect sort of foundation to build upon. Yeah, exactly. I feel like this Serbia game could be like that. But how do you think we're going to beat them?
I think it could be more of an open game than people will suspect as well, which I think is why Trent might be quite key. Even if they do set up in a bit of a low block, I think Trent's ability to find that key pass and play between the lines, I think could be key in this game. So I think he's definitely going to go with him. It's hard. I just kind of want to see them. I don't really know. I know they've got some decent players, but it's like, and I know they're not going to just sit back and it's not going to be, it's right. You try and score, and we're going to hit you on the counter attack. But I'm really intrigued at what sort of game it's going to be like. But I don't really know. Yeah. It's hard to. They're kind of a bit of a. I don't know, an unknown quantity a little bit, Serbia. But you just know when they've got Mitrovic in front, it's like fucking probably scoring.
Yeah, he's proper. He'll be proper rolled up as well.
Oh,
proper rolled up.
Yeah.
And he's used to doing it against players Premier League players. He's used to it.
Yeah, so made a career off it.
He won't be phased. Yeah, he won't be phased. Vlahovic, it's a big tournament for him, I think, because he was like he was the next big thing, and I think Allegri ball at Juventus has sort of
killed him a bit.
Yeah, killed his momentum in the game. But a big Euros would be perfect for him, and that's what he'll be eyeing up. So he'll have a point to prove in a way.
He's kind of built for transition, isn't he, Vlahovic?
Yeah, just powerful, quick, bit Haaland-esque, but he's a threat in every aspect of the game. So yeah, it will be a challenge, but I think we'll scrape by. What's your score predictions?
2-1 England, I think.
2-1.
Yeah, Bellingham and Harry Kane.
Harry Kane, penalty or a header, something like that. I think
one of them.
Yeah, Trent, yeah, Trent 2 assists. I think.
Yeah. I think Trent's going to catch a light in the first game. I do. I kind of agree with you.
He needs that as well because people will get on his back if he ain't performing in the centre in midfield. And people start calling him Southgate. Yeah, calling out Southgate. Yeah. I can see Bellingham and Kane scoring, but I want to go for a little bit something different. I'll say Foden and Kane. Bellingham playing unbelievably well, being that sort of the pre-assist to Trent's 2 assists. I think.
Yeah, I like it.
And yeah, I think 2-0 or 2-1. I think.
I think Bellingham's going to be the player of the tournament.
Really? So let's get on to that. So what we're going to do is this will be an England podcast, but what we'll do is right now, because it's the first episode of the series, we're going to do our sort of Euros prediction as a whole, and then on our final episode of the series, we'll look back on our predictions and see who sort of got the most points. Yeah. So you've just said it there. So let's start then with player of the tournament. Who's that going to be?
Jude Bellingham. I think it's going to be Jude Bellingham. I think he's going to rise to the occasion. I think all this noise around Bellingham, all this but he's not been that good for Real Madrid. Shut up. I genuinely think he's just going to come in with this attitude of just like, I'm the best fucking player on the pitch, like Rooney in 2004. I don't know. I get accused on TikTok of glazing Jude Bellingham all the time, right? It's pathetic. You give any player like a crumb of praise now, and it's just like, oh, you're glazing him. I love Jude Bellingham, and I really think that I don't even think he's a bad shout for a top goal scorer either. I think with those third man runs, those back post headers, just like scrappy little goals here and there, like just I think Bellingham. I think Bellingham's going to be player of the tournament.
I think big goals as well.
Yeah. I think you can see Bellingham having a moment in this tournament,
I think so.
Where it's like just force him on the edge of the box. It's Bellingham.
Yeah. I think as well as Kane has a bit of a tendency, as much as we love him, to sort of ghost massive games. I think he does. And I think that's where we need someone like Bellingham who's fearless and who rises to the occasion, scores big goals. And again, you can just see him ghosting past Harry Kane in a cross, just fucking twatting a header into the top corner.
You could argue now, though, that celebration. That's going to be me on Sunday. I think I think in a way, maybe the pressure being on Bellingham might help Kane a bit. Do you think? In a way, like having the guy that's true, actually. Now that's like, because I feel like we've tried to, over the last two, not so much the World Cup, because I think the World Cup in 2018 was like a bit like, see what happens. Like, first tournament under Southgate, there wasn't any expectation really. Then we fucking beat Tunisia and then batter Panama, and then it's like, hello. But I feel like there's just been this expectation on Kane. I feel like there's been this yearning almost the last couple of tournaments to find the guy that's going to be the guy that turns up if Harry Kane doesn't. And I feel like they were trying to make that Foden a little bit in maybe the last World Cup. Foden, there was so much hype around Foden going into the Euros as well. Maybe someone like Grealish as well, maybe. Like, I feel like they've been Rashford. Rashford, there's been this. Now this England team is more established under Southgate. I think there's kind of been this like search for this. Who's going to be the guy if Kane doesn't score? Whereas now, I think we're in the best shape we've ever been in terms of that, having that guy with Bellingham, I think. And I think that actually might help Kane. And I think Kane will have a bit more of a tournament where it's like, right, goal in the first game, goal in the second. Like, I think he might not be top scorer, but I think Kane will have a bit more of a regularity and fluidity to his goal scoring because the pressure isn't on Kane as much now. Does that make sense?
I know exactly what I mean. It also, his game complements Bellingham. One, Bellingham has a presence on the pitch, and yeah, they are, because it does remind me of Kane and Dele's sort of relationship, in the fact that Kane obviously likes to drop deep, and Bellingham just bomb on, and Kane could drag that defensive line back forward as Bellingham makes a late run past them, beats the offside trap, and then there's not that problem of Bellingham, Foden, Kane all crowding the same area.
Yeah.
And I think that will just work perfectly, and that's why I can see Bellingham getting loads of goals this tournament, because he can do that. And again, it's like the presence in the box. Harry Kane's a great header of the ball. He's a great physical presence, but sometimes he's lonely with players like Saka floating around him. And we almost get to like route one sometimes when we're playing up against a team that parks the bus and we're just whipping in crosses, and it almost looks like it's just Kane in the box and people getting ahead of the way, and it gets frustrating. You're gonna have Bellingham in the box with him, 6'2", 6'3", absolute mountain of a bloke, and that's going to take the pressure off Kane again, and Kane can make those runs to the back post, run to the front post, flick it on. It can ease that pressure of him being that focal point. Exactly. I see what you're saying. I think the obvious ones are Mbappe. I think Ronaldo is probably his last Euros tournament. I think he's going to be fired up. I'm trying to think of other players, but I think
Bruno Fernandes.
Yeah, could be Bruno Fernandes. It'd be interesting to see the dynamic of Portugal. I know they're stacked, absolutely stacked, but it'd be interesting to see they almost have like a player power problem, Portugal, I think, with the balance.
Yeah.
But I think they've been looking like they're playing a back three. And yeah, it'll be interesting to see Bruno Fernandes. It could be one at a tournament for him. But looking at Germany, there's a lot of players like Florian Wirtz, Musiala, Toni Kroos. It's his last ever moment in football, isn't it? So it'll be there's I'm trying to think outside the box, but I think Bellingham, Mbappe, or Ronaldo. Maybe Griezmann always turns up for France, but have you got your eye out on anyone in the tournament that's gonna sort of be that breakout star that there so often is in international tournaments? Who is Ben Bowman investing his stocks into in Euros 2024?
I think there's two countries that I'm kind of looking at when it comes to this, and I think it's Netherlands and I think it's Spain in terms of some of the
for their players.
Yeah, because I think Spain are going to have quite a decent tournament. I think Spain have kind of been written off a little bit because it's like, well, they don't really have the firepower. I think Nico Williams could be one. I think Lamine Yamal could be one. Lamine Yamal's kind of the obvious shout. A lot of people saying, if I go to the Dutch, there's so much good young talent there. Xavi Simons, I think, will be one to watch, 100%. Jeremy Frimpong as well.
Xerxes been put in the team literally yesterday.
Has he?
Yeah, Xerxes. Brian.
See that? Brian Robbie got injured.
Yeah, he got injured, so Xerxes been put back in.
I didn't see that. That's interesting because I was like, I can't believe Xerxes wasn't actually. I did not know that.
Yeah. What? I didn't know that. I never knew that.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, after Ian Maatson to replace him on Joshua Xerxes. Xerxes not a
big
bad shout.
Big for him.
I think they'll go probably Depay and Marlon and Gakpo, probably, won't they? Or maybe even Bergwijn up front.
Yeah. I think he might be like he sort of emerges later in the group stages as
essentially
someone that comes in and just wows the world and then just forces his way into the team.
Yeah,
which actually makes it more of a fairy tale story for him. The fact he wasn't even chosen.
Yeah,
he found out in Disneyland apparently.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Funny things like that happen in the Euros. I don't know. It's like
Denmark,
but yeah, exactly. Or like Portugal winning the whole fucking thing and not even nearly getting out of the group. So
exactly.
Portugal as well. João Neves, Vitinha.
Yeah, I'm watching him.
Even like this might sound stupid, but like I said it before, like Bruno Fernandes, I think he's going to have a good tournament. I think he always plays well for Portugal. He's not a young star by any means, but like I think a lot of people are kind of everyone's a bit. Bruno Fernandes is a bit Marmite, isn't he? And I think on the international stage, I think he'll turn up. I think maybe you look at France, maybe someone like Bradley Barcola, but how much game time is someone like that actually going to get? Yeah, I'll invest my stocks in Xavi Simons. It's quite a safe bet. One player I was also going to say, and again, he's not a kid, by any means, and I think he's a decent outside bet for top scorer, and this makes me feel sick coming out my mouth. But Kai Havertz,
yeah, I was thinking you might say that.
Yeah,
playing in that Havertz
is a decent bet for outside, like for top goal scorer, because I think Germany will go quite far. It's like breaking news, do you know what I mean? But
he looks like an international type tournament player as well.
Did well at the last Euros, didn't he? Scored a few goals.
Yeah. I can kind of see. I can't see that. I think João Neves will have a tournament like Renato Sanchez did back in 2016 for Portugal.
Yeah,
you know how everyone was like, yeah, and then Bayern Munich, and then where does he even play now? It's just disappeared off the face of the earth. But is it Lille?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think he'll go on to much better things than Swansea. But I think he'll have a tournament like that where everyone will be like, "Fuck me, who's this?" I think they've got a couple of defenders as well. Antonio Silva, Inacio. Yeah. I think they've got a couple. And but the thing is, for them, what's good is they're going to be partnered with Ruben Diaz and Pepe as well. Yeah. And that's like the perfect type of leader next to him. Either of them, perfect for Inacio and Antonio Silva. Inacio's left-footed, and you know how they're like gold on the market for as a quick left-footed defender. And Antonio Silva. And I think that goes on to the Golden Glove.
I was going to say Guerrero as well in that Portugal back line.
What, the left back?
Yeah.
And he's always underrated, isn't he, Guerrero? He's had a great career as well.
He's a good player.
Yeah, exactly. But I think he's not. Everyone knows who he is, but I think Lois Openda is going to surprise a lot of people.
Yeah, that's a good shout.
I think he'll have a really good tournament. I think he'll score a lot of goals, and I think people will start talking about him getting a big move. I think he'll sort of force a big move because Sesko is staying at Leipzig one more year. I think that frees up Openda for a move. Yeah. So I think he'll have a big. A big tournament. I think Ukraine have a few players that are going to emerge as well, and I have Ukraine as my dark horses. Before we get on to dark horses, I know I've teed the Golden Glove up a little bit, but I think they've got a couple of players that will emerge that have been around but will emerge, and people will start talking about Saigankov from Girona, the right mid. I think he's going to be unbelievable. I think he's going to have a sort of an emerging tournament where he lights up a few games, scores a few bangers with his left foot. And people start talking about him for even possibly like a Spurs move. I think he'd be perfect. Just a tricky winger who's got a great cross in him, and he's used to playing with Dovbyk, yeah. Who plays for Girona as well.
He's a fucking unit, by the way.
He is, and he could have a great tournament. He could have a brilliant tournament, and then put himself on the shop market. So, I mean. So that leads me on to dark horses. I think it will be Ukraine. I know a lot of people will talk about Austria, but I think Ukraine because of the two I mentioned: Zabarny from Bournemouth, Sudakov from Shakhtar Donetsk. A lot of people were raving about him. On the left, they got Mudryk. He's shite, but I think he plays well for Ukraine. Zinchenko come midfield. They got Milenkovic. Who have they got? Milenko.
The back.
Who's the left back for Everton?
Milivojevic. No, fucking what's his name? Oh my god, what is his name?
Mikalenko, yeah, nice one. I think they've just got a very good team for a tournament. I think they got a very good attack, a good balanced attack, and could do. And Yarmolenko is obviously kicking about as well. I think. I think they could have a good a good tournament. Who's your dark horses then?
Mine are so shit compared to yours because they're not really dark horses. I was going to say Portugal because I feel like nobody's actually talking about them winning it. I feel like a lot of people talking about, Portugal kind of always like flatter to deceive at these tournaments, but I think Portugal could win it. In my predictions video on my YouTube channel, I had England beating Portugal in the final.
Yeah.
So I think Portugal could go quite far.
Could go to the final.
Belgium's not a bad shout either because I think, again, a lot of people are writing Belgium off because it's like, that golden generation's passed. But I do quite like the midfield balance of like Onana, De Bruyne and Tielemans. Openda as well, like you say. It'd be interesting to see if Openda actually plays with Lukaku, but I don't know.
That's my worry because I think he would light up the tournament if he started, but obviously Lukaku's such a
It's their defence is really worried.
Yeah, who have they got? They got that Thiart, who plays for Rennes, is it? In Ligue 1. He's a good left foot. So about Vertonghen, obviously, Castagna. Their defence is
it's not great.
It's okay. It's not ready yet. I think the Bast coming through, he's going to get moved to the Sport in Lisbon. In the next tournament, maybe he's a breakout star. I don't think he's quite ready yet. Young Belgium centre back, but he I think they got Bakayoko right mid. They got Doku left mid. They've got Trossard as well. De Bruyne, Tielemans, and Nana, like you said. Yeah, it could be. And Italy have got some players off the back of a really good season, like Caliafori, Scamacca. Chiesa's come back from injury, but obviously they got the players like Barella who have that experience. DiMarco. They've got some really good players. It's just I don't really see Italy progressing. But
no, neither.
And
I think
that
group will be really tough
for them.
Yeah, I think Spain are better than people think. I think that group's going to be really tough for Italy to get out of because I think they'll probably go through. I've got them coming third in the group. I think they'll go through. But I think, again, with Croatia, a lot of people are just saying, oh, it's an Asian team, like, surely not again. They've always find a way, Croatia, and they've still got very good players. So I wouldn't be surprised if Croatia... I've got Spain top in that group and Croatia second and Italy third.
Yeah. There's three things, definite in this life. Death, taxes, and Luka Modric with an outside of the boot screamer from 30 yards in every single international tournament.
The one against Scotland, wasn't it? Last year, it was class.
Yeah.
Unreal.
So I think I think Croatia are always a great shout for international tournaments. They never actually disappoint. And they always have the same team almost, like Perisic back, Modric, Brozovic, and obviously Vardiol.
Can they
go? Get Mandzukic back.
Run it back. I think they can
run it back. I think France. Top scorer then? Do you think Bellingham top scorer?
I'm going to say Mbappe, but I think Bellingham's a decent outside bet. I think Mbappe, that France team is just so geared up to attack and get the best out of Mbappe. I'll be surprised if it's not him. Even Cristiano Ronaldo is not a bad shout.
It could be someone like Bruno Fernandes. Could be like a midfielder, someone who gets a lot of goals. But then there's a bit of a problem there because Ronaldo will take penalties. Ronaldo will try and take free kicks.
He's not scored one for fucking however long for Portugal, though, is he?
No, but I think Bruno Fernandes. I feel like for Portugal, I think Ronaldo needs to leave for Bruno Fernandes to really shine for Portugal. I think I think he's so good as that main man. He's in Ronaldo's shadow, and I don't think he likes that. I don't think there's that sort of like balance there. I think that could be detrimental for him, but hopefully because I see him as a massive threat.
Yeah, they've got so many good forward options. Portugal, it's a joke.
Yeah, they're Paulinho, João Neves, Vitinha. Trying to think of their centre mids, and then they got Bernardo Silva, Bruno Fernandes, João Felix, Leao, Neto, Pedro Neto, Ronaldo. There's so many things they can do. Delo, Cancelo, Gonzalo Ramos, and then their defence is. I think they're a proper problem.
They've probably got the best squad.
Which actually, I think they do, and I think Golden Glove goes to Diogo Costa, their goalkeeper. Yeah, I think it's not even just him. I think he can be he was a little bit erratic in the last tournament he was in.
Yeah, he was, wasn't he?
I think just because of the defence in front of him, I think the defence is going to surprise a lot of people. I think it's perfect.
Yeah.
And then finally, winners, you go in England?
Yeah, got on you.
Fuck it, I'll go England.
Yeah, come on.
My brain
England.
into Portugal. Come on, England. And my heart says England.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
my heart says 3 lines on a shirt. Jules May still gleaming. 30 years of hurt, no stop dreaming. That's what my heart says.
You know what? Me too. I can see it. It's coming home.
Yeah. I
can see Harry Kane lifting it.
Yeah.
In Germany. The first trophy he fucking wins in Germany with Euros. Yeah. What is your favourite Euros 2024 kit? There's some beauties, mate. Absolute beauties.
You know what? I wouldn't often say this, but I think Nike have outdone Adidas this year with the Euros kits. Actually, maybe not.
Yeah.
I love the England kit. I think both England
Who
kits.
has Belgium's kit?
Adidas. Belgium's kit's
England's
nice.
kit, yeah. Oh, Adidas. Oh, mate, it's so nice. The colours, the light blue away kit, and then the sort of like,
The home kit's nice.
Is it maroon or
maroon
so
and like
good, mate?
gold? That is nice. What do you think of the Germany kits?
Such a nice colour, but I like the pink one. I really like the pink away kit.
Well. Not keen on
the home kit's quite.
Home kit's a bit school disco, isn't it? Flame shirt. It's a bit school disco.
Yeah. I love the England kits. I think the England kits feel retro, but not at the same time. It's weird.
Nice nod, yeah. Do you know what pisses me off though about the England kit? Right? Why did we've won a World Cup? You can't even see that star. Hardly. Show it off. We've won one. I
like it.
My favourite thing about the England kit is probably the flag on the back.
Oh, mate. Dangerous territory.
Coming,
get belters.
Woke coming in the comments. I'm wearing the most woke football shirt ever. Made me want to buy it even more.
I really like the simplicity of the England kits. I think that makes an international kit.
Yeah,
like what
the thing is, though, right?
Kits are all about.
Collar up. The collar's a bit funny. Like collar up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not sure about that actually. Or collar down.
Collar down. I think.
Collar down.
Yeah. Netherlands, mate. Netherlands have a great kit.
Oh, mate, they are very nice.
Very nice.
Can't go wrong with Netherlands kits, can you? Really? Though. Yeah. I suppose.
Nah.
They are very,
Italy's
very
kit's
good.
Nice as well. Actually, off memory.
Italy with Adidas just feels wrong though.
Yeah. Yeah, I know what you mean.
Nike or Puma.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Puma. Yeah.
Who else has got good kits?
But yeah, off the top of my head, they're the ones: England, Belgium, and
Portugal away kit's nice. Yeah. Have you seen the Portugal away kit?
Nah, is it white?
White and blue. White and blue. It's like sort of a nice, almost like a Weatherspoons plate pattern.
Oh yeah, nice. I'm really hoping for an all-timer. You know, like all the kits are beautiful. Like all of the kits are unbelievable. Yeah. And then you just need an all-timer tournament, and I'm so excited.
Yeah.
And I think it'll be massive. I think it's going to be massive for England. Ben, you've been a legend. Where can people find you on social? But before you answer that, actually, let us know who you want coming on the pod, because we're looking to bring on guests for the international tournament for the Euros.
Try and get Harry Kane on, I reckon.
Yeah, I mean, I reached out to Charlie. Is it Charlie Kane? But he ain't got back to me yet. But he still blocked me from all the times I called him a twat during last summer.
Did she block you?
No.
Oh,
well, it's me DMing him. Fuck you.
You fucking
fuck off.
Gimp.
Gimp. Let us know. Who you want us to chat to about England on the pod. But Ben, you've been a legend as always. Where can people find you on socials?
YouTube, just my name. You'll find me. TikTok, Ben Bowman, Ben Talks Football. Twitter, just those are the main three really. But YouTube probably the most priority. 400 subscribers now. Come on,
mate. That's fucking sick. That's so good.
Let's go.
That is sick, considering like how long you've and how much you've posted as well.
I know, mate.
It's a really good start.
There'll be a video hopefully coming tomorrow, maybe. And we're pushing ahead with the Euros content.
Quality,
but love it. Nice one.
Everyone, England. Thank you so much, and we'll speak to you after the Serbia game. Take care.
Peace. Come on, England.